If you've been waiting for the right time to shop for a car, your wait is over. Davenport Auto Park has a lot full of late model pre-loved cars. That's right, they're on the lot, fully inspected and ready to go. And there's more on the way. So come on in for the deal of your life on the ride of your life. We have inventory, all kinds of cars for all kinds of folks. We promise you'll find what you're looking for at Davenport Auto Park, or we'll find it for you. Davenport Auto Park, Rocky Mount.
Welcome to Cuisine with Jean and Ginny Mohrbutter. And you probably recognize her more than you recognize me, the Executive Director of the United Way Tarboro Region. It's great to have you.
It's great to be here. I love being here with you. I love WIG TV, so it's wonderful to be back and to be here with you today.
Well, the United Way is kind of the glue that holds the community together as far as providing help, aid, support, comfort, concern, all those services across the entire area. And you said Tarboro Region, what geographically is that?
It's technically Edgecombe and Nash counties, but we get calls in from all over. But it's technically the Twin County region. And you're right, I think we are like an umbrella for the nonprofits. And you know, you've been involved with us. Everybody here at WIG TV has been involved with us through the years. COVID added for everybody extra things, but we have been responding to those extra needs. And then one of the big things we've been working on lately after the QVC facility fire, we were asked to step up and set up a special fund to help the employees that were in need after they were displaced and lost their jobs. So we've been really busy with that. And we just kicked off our giving campaign. So never a dull moment. And you know, our goal is to try to really bring together resources, whether it is financial, if it's people, human capital, in-kind donations, and then we help get them out to the nonprofits in the community in kind of three key areas. And it's kind of neat to be cooking today because one of our focus areas through United Way is health, talking about healthy eating, access to healthy foods, exercise. So that is just a perfect way to kind of talk about that today as well. So it's wonderful to be here, and we have such a great community to be a part of.
So you do get involved in helping encourage healthy eating?
We do because you know we fund a variety of programs, and we do fund programs in those areas. We want to talk about healthy eating, access to healthy eating, because sometimes people maybe haven't heard of a food or they don't have access to a food. That is really one of our biggest areas, is really making sure people have access to food and healthy options and know what to do with them as well, because sometimes, you know, eggplant, not everybody knows what an eggplant is and what you can do with it. Or we're going to talk a little bit about quinoa. It's a grain that I know I cook a lot, but not everybody would know, you know, quinoa. And I love using avocados and blueberries and superfoods. So that's kind of really one of the focuses. So it's kind of nice to be able to tie that all together.
I'm so impressed because you grew up in Tarboro.
I grew up in Oak City, technically,
Okay.
Martin County.
And
But
you didn't grow up eating like this, did you?
I did not. Well, I will say my mother especially was a very good cook. I tend to be a better preparer because you know, we're all busy in the life, but I like to put together things that are really healthy. And I'm not a meat eater, so that I look at a lot of tofu items, and I look at a lot of other superfoods that I can have to get protein and other vitamins and minerals. So for me, probably being at UNC Chapel Hill, where I went to school, that was a place where all kinds of different food options were available, and I learned a lot about organic foods then, and just research. You know, you kind of, if you like certain things, you begin to research and try them. And I have a husband who's really supportive too. We eat very similarly. So the dish we're going to prepare today, we eat this 2 to 3 times a week. I know that'll sound hard to believe, but it's such an easy thing to prepare, and it's so
you're both
good.
busy and running in.
We
and
are.
How good that you've got something that you can, in fact, you're going to really love this because you can throw it together. You can just have these things on hand and basically assemble it. And the recipes, by the way, are at our website, Cuisine with Jean, so be sure and check that out.
Yeah,
absolutely. Want to get started?
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. Well, what we're going to prepare today is the super salad bowl. That's what we call it. And I will say this recipe has been adapted by my husband and myself. You know, sometimes you get a cookbook and you do it, but this is kind of what we've developed through the years.
Trent's cute, isn't he?
He is, and
I'm
so lucky that he loves this type of, you know, eating as well. And his parents eat very much like this
Oh,
too.
good.
Yeah, so his father's 85 and very healthy, and they do these types of meals as well. So this could be a lunch, it can be a dinner. We do this for dinner because it's so hearty, and you can make it as large or as small as you would like. So the first thing we do is obviously take a bowl, and I've kind of got the ingredients already out here for us. So start with spinach or some other green, kale, arugula.
Yeah.
There are other mixed greens that you can use, but we love spinach because it's got a lot of iron and fiber and things like that, and that's good for cleaning out the system. So you just start with, I've got 2 bowls in there and I didn't even realize it.
In fact, that's considered to be one of the super greens.
Exactly.
Because the dark color makes, really radiates more nutrition in it too.
Exactly. And we, before we started, I went on and pulled the stems off. Some people I don't think like spinach because it has that long stem on it, but I call this a handful of spinach. Now, this is going to make enough for 1 to 2 people, depending on how hungry you are. Because these foods are really filling, so if you eat slowly, it will fill you up, even though it's a salad. So start with your greens, and then we have several items that you just sprinkle on top. Now, this one is something that a lot of people know hummus, but they do not maybe know it comes from garbanzo beans or chickpeas. We eat a ton of these because lots of protein in them, and they taste a little nutty, and they almost have a meat-like taste, but they're a legume. So you just sprinkle that on top.
And you can get them you got these in cans, right?
I did. These are cans. Yes, you can.
So
you
the
can
shelf life, it's just great. And unlike meat that you buy and you have to use pretty quickly, you can just buy a bunch of cans of those and just have them to put instant protein on things.
Absolutely. I put it on a salad. You can add it to a sandwich. They're just really yummy. And for me, I want to make sure I get the right ingredient. That's about 2 tablespoons that I use there. I tend to just kind of put stuff on here, but for here I was trying to quantify it so people would know. The other superfood that I use a ton of are blueberries, and not everybody thinks about putting blueberries on a salad. I think, but
Even Chick-fil-A does.
they've got that kale.
I love their kale salad.
It's delish. It really is. And these they're just loaded with everything. So I try to put blueberries. In fact, driving in today, I was eating blueberries. So just sprinkle the
saved
blueberries.
enough for us, though, Ginny. Good.
We can always pull some of these off.
Ginny, I want to mention, I was reading some Nutrition Digest thing. My mom was a dietitian.
Yes.
That even these bags that you wash that have already washed, ready to eat, they should be washed again.
Exactly. Yeah, we always wash our greens as well. They'll say pre-wash, but you just never can be too careful.
Right.
And we do try to buy organic when we can. I just like the idea of the organic product. Sometimes I can find it, find what I'm looking for, but absolutely wash it.
Okay.
So with those blueberries, about 1/4 of a cup of the blueberries. Now tomatoes, and I know tomatoes are kind of a mix. Some people like them, some people don't, and I know they have a lot of acid in them, but I love tomatoes.
I do too.
And you can take a grape tomato. For this, I did smaller tomatoes, so all you really need to do is just sprinkle them right on top, or you can cut them. You can cut them if you wish, cut them in half, and then you've got that as well.
You can get organic of those also, which is good.
Absolutely. As much organic as we can, for sure. Now, mushrooms. I love a mushroom, and not, I think some people love them, some people don't. You can do the little baby Bella mushrooms. This is just a typical white mushroom, already pre-sliced, and again, important to wash them. All of these,
Yeah, you rinse them and you kind of brush off the manure, which is what they're cooked in. It's sterilized manure, if that sounds kind of funny, but yeah, you need to kind of brush off the kind of dirt-looking stuff.
Absolutely, and there's sometimes a little bit of a skin on them that is maybe there, so I just kind of wash and kind of, clean them as I go along. So again, that's why it's so easy. It's just like a little sprinkle, 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 and that gives you that other vegetable. Now, the other items that we've got are ones that, you can choose to have this. You can choose any of these or not put them in. If you don't like some of these ingredients, you can choose not to use them. This is really kind of what you want. One thing I do want to point out, quinoa, I mentioned this early. If you want some extra protein, we're going to talk about cottage cheese in just a second, but quinoa is a grain that you can cook. This has to be cooked. I just brought it just to show. But you can cook this and just put a little dollop on top, so it gives you extra.
How long does it take to cook? Is it very...
Look,
15 minutes.
can I just say, I normally get the microwavable pack.
Oh,
They do
okay.
come, that's why I wasn't
Uh-huh.
going to even attempt, because I just do the microwavable pack. But it's very much like rice, cooking it similar to a rice product. So depending on your quantity, anywhere from probably 15 to 20 minutes.
And it's got a nutty flavor too, doesn't it?
does.
I mean, my son actually in California introduced this to me, and I said had never even heard of this. Probably 10 or more years ago, but
Yep.
they eat it a lot out there. It's just, and I'm looking at the protein value, 6 grams of protein for a fourth of a cup.
Absolutely.
So another no fat, high protein product. egg product.
Absolutely. So one of those things that you can add it if you want to, but sometimes I'll put egg, which we're going to talk about that as well. But for this, we are going to put cottage cheese. This is just a low-fat cottage cheese. And with the cottage cheese, this is about a half of I think I did 2 tablespoons of that. So I'm just going to put that right here. So what I kind of do is I just put little mounds around so that way, some people like to merge foods together. Some people don't want foods merged together, you know, so I just do like little dollops around. But that is, for good protein, that is a low-fat cottage cheese.
Definitely protein. I mean, cottage cheese is great.
I know, and we eat that all the time on all kinds of different things.
And you can pack it for your lunch too.
Yes, absolutely.
With some blueberries, yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
great food.
Yeah. Now the other thing that I've prepared, and this I did a softer boil, but a hard-boiled egg. I think people think about those for like deviled eggs and egg salad, but just, you know, hard-boiled eggs can be ready in 7 to 10 minutes. These are a softer boil, but if you want them harder, you know, 10, 12 minutes, whatever you think you need to do. But this is the extra protein that I put on top as well.
And I want to mention, I have gotten away from eating as many yolks as I used to.
Yes,
You notice
yes.
the quart containers now of egg whites?
Yes.
Even Eggland's Best has that.
Yes.
The majority of the protein is in the white. I think it's 5 grams protein in the white and 1 in the yolk. And that's not to say the yolk, you don't get a lot of other nutritional
Right.
value in it. But if for some reason, I mean, that's why you see all egg white sandwiches and things like that, because that's really where you get the protein.
Absolutely. And you can do either or with this. You can take the yolk right out of it, or you can have it in it. Either way, it works just fine. And the last 2 ingredients that I was going to use, now, to me, the pear is probably one of the most underrated fruits that we have.
Wonderful.
It's delicious, it's great for you, and it really enhances a salad. And again, people don't always think about putting the fruit on the salad. So I was just going to, for me, I just do about a fourth of the pear, and I just slice it and I put it, you know, right on top. This is already washed, of course, and you can get any kind of pear that you like, but I probably Bartlett pear maybe this is. I should have probably looked to see what
Yeah.
type it was. But and I have washed my hands, but I'll just sprinkle this on top as well so that you got a little extra taste to it. And again, I kind of put it in different little segments, so it kind of, we're starting to see it kind of come together.
Beautiful.
And the last thing that we're going to put on here, we had a good conversation about avocado this morning. Avocados are so popular. Some people love them, some people don't. I happen to love them.
Me
I can
too.
eat avocado as avocado, guacamole, toast with guacamole on it. And I did not bring it today, but I do have a little product that I use. I don't know if you've seen this, Jean, but when you open it and you take your little pit out, and this is a nice ripe one. I have this product that you can just slide it, and it actually slices it for you.
Oh, wow.
But for this, I don't really need that. But I think one of the keys with avocado is it needs to be ripe. If it's too hard, it's not as good. But I just slice it like this. And then normally I would take a spoon or a fork or something, and I just kind of dig it out. And
Now, your little slicer thing doesn't dig it out, too. It just slices it, right?
it does slice it right, and then all you need to do is take a spoon to get it out.
Uh-huh.
But then I just kind of, that's looking a little, but again, I just kind of,
And the fats in there are the best fats ever for good health. I mean, this is very much of a Mediterranean.
exactly. That's a great way
Ideal.
that is a great way to describe it. And they're so good for you. They have so many positives. I know they have fat in them, but it's the good fat from what I've read and heard. So in the end, that is what you have. Now, the great thing is you can substitute anything you want.
So I'm thinking from my husband's perspective, would you cover it with ranch dressing?
Well, and you know what? I have my dressing, and I have to think.
Well, we can show it at the
Okay.
end. But do you put dressing on it,
I
or do you
do.
eat it like this?
You can do whatever you like, but what I typically do is I'll do like a light vinaigrette, or I'll do a balsamic vinaigrette and virgin olive oil on top, and I just do a little sprinkle on top, and because I like the flavors, you don't need a lot of dressing, and I know people like ranch, they like Thousand Island, French. You could put that on here. That's perfectly fine, but if you do those lighter oils, the flavor of
you
the
get
food.
to taste the ingredients instead of the whatever it is with ranch.
Exactly. You taste
Yeah.
that dressing versus the food. And all of these foods are so flavorful that, I mean, just being able to taste them is so important.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've gotten so I just drizzle olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, not even vinaigrette, although it's healthy for you to do that. But I just like to drizzle. If I go to a restaurant, I will say, do you have any olive oil?
Absolutely.
And I'll just drizzle that on it and put a little salt and pepper.
Absolutely. And
Ready
that,
to go.
I was going to say, salt and pepper. The other item I was going to mention that I did bring as an example is the kidney bean. Again, lots of fiber, lots of iron in these, and you can get lighter kidney beans or darker kidney beans. That's another bean you can put on top. And
Do
then
you chill them or just take them straight
I
room temperature?
typically take them room temperature, but I think you could chill them. They're great either way.
Okay.
And then salt and pepper is the final thing I'll say. Not everybody wants salt and pepper, but I usually do like a cracked pepper. But you can do just a regular shake salt and pepper, put it on top to your taste, and then you can either eat it sectioned or you can mix it all together, and it becomes this wonderful, like as my husband calls it, a goulash. It's like everything together. Everything together.
Super. Well, we're going to take a break, and you've got another one for us.
Absolutely.
Okay. Be right back.
If you've been waiting for the right time to shop for a car, your wait is over. Davenport Auto Park has a lot full of late model pre-loved cars. That's right, they're on the lot, fully inspected and ready to go. And there's more on the way. So come on in for the deal of your life on the ride of your life. We have inventory, all kinds of cars for all kinds of folks. We promise you'll find what you're looking for at Davenport Auto Park, or we'll find it for you. Davenport Auto Park, Rocky Mount.
Your cabinets draw the most attention in your kitchen. They have to last through the hard use of a happy home. Family dinners, game nights, late night snacks, and parties. So when it's time to upgrade or to renovate that kitchen of yours, maybe even to build that dream kitchen in your new home, do you really want to settle for cabinets that could be subpar? Do you? Where can you find quality cabinets along with customer service that you can depend on? The solution is simple. You buy your cabinets from a locally owned family business, Magazine Cabinets. Magazine Cabinets sells cabinets that combine solid traditional quality construction with the hand-finished look that is simply stunning when on display.
Customer service was great. I had a warm feeling about the whole situation. So, at the end of the day, I felt great about coming here and giving him my business.
The owners, Dennis and Lorna, pride themselves on their work and ensuring your satisfaction. When it's time to upgrade, choose Magazine. They have a quality you can trust from locals you can depend on.
Thank you for staying with us. And Jenny has got another healthy, and you can look at you and tell that you eat very healthy, but I really like, Jenny, that you take seriously your being a role model for helping people. And one of the sad things that I've heard through the years is unhealthy food is cheaper than healthy
It
food.
is.
And
It
of course,
can
we've
be.
got the farmer's market that has great local produce, and we need to really look toward that. But unfortunately, thank goodness, I think the food banks and whatnot are getting more and more healthy food with them.
Absolutely. Again, it's that exposure oftentimes for people to know that they can eat healthy and they're able to access it, because you're right. Sometimes those items that are cheaper, that are more of you get it more quickly, is not always the best for you. And oftentimes foods do take a little bit of time to prepare them. But it can be fun. You can do it as a parent and a child, as a husband and a wife, as friends. Those cooking parties are fun. So you kind of make it part of the routine. And you can talk about, healthy eating as you do it. So I do take that seriously and I try my best. But, we all have our moments. I love French fries. There are things that I'll eat that I know are probably not good for me, but I do try to do as many fruits and veggies as I can, for sure.
As long as moderation. My
That's
father
right.
was a food scientist, and you say everything in moderation.
That's right. That's a good way to look at it. Really good way to look at it.
Like, you don't eat the whole bag of Cheetos. You can have a few and then eat a healthy meal.
Absolutely.
Or something.
Well,
And for kids, it's good to merchandise for parents. I know a dietitian one time told me she keeps a bowl of freshly watched grapes,
Yes.
apples, and whatnot in the refrigerator. So when the kids are come home from school starving, they can just grab something,
Right.
not a bag of chips, a bag of something.
And so
something
much of
healthy.
that is what you do get exposed to when you, and sometimes you've not tried those things, and a child will go, "Wow, I really like that." So absolutely try to expose as much as possible and give those opportunities. As I mentioned earlier with United Way, we do talk a lot about healthy eating. We talk about kind of those building blocks for a healthy and successful life. That having your health is vital to that. Making sure you have financial stability is important to that, and obviously education. Making sure you have those, and I know how much you appreciate that as being an educator yourself. Having access to education, and those are the building blocks to really having that productive, positive life that we all want everybody in our community to have. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is a great tie-in because being able to talk about why it's important to have health, your good health.
Well, and I'm on the hospital board, and we see so many diabetes, heart disease, and whatnot. So many of them start with poor eating habits as a child.
Yes.
And lack of exercise.
Yes, and we haven't really gotten a lot into sugar, but most of the things we're talking about today either have natural sugars. I've been trying to not eat or drink a lot of sugar. My coffee in the morning, I've gotten down to just a tiny little bit of sugar, but it's taken me a while to get there because sugar and the drinks and other things can be a culprit too for young kids. So water, we were just talking about water and drinking water, drinking those non-sweet drinks are really a good way to kind of reduce that in your body as well. Yeah.
Well, you were going to make a citrus rosemary salad. Yum. That sounds very healthy.
Well, we started with the super salad that we made earlier, and this is just, I actually use this as an appetizer, or you can use it kind of as a dessert. It doesn't tend to be sweet, but some people they want more savory for dessert these days. You can kind of go either way. But I love this because it's so simple. You literally take 2 navel oranges, and you either take a red onion or a shallot. And I like to use a shallot, and a shallot's not that common, but it's a milder version to me of an onion, and it's easier for me to use. Doesn't smell quite as strong, and sometimes I think people
Doesn't
can
make you cry while you're cutting it up.
Yeah, let's hope. We're going to try. I'm going to cut a piece of this, but what we're preparing today is this is a 1 or 2 person serving, depending on how much you want. And again, you can use it as an appetizer or as a dessert. So and then also you put rosemary in it, or you can put oregano, whichever one you prefer. But I love all the different. I have a little spice garden that we grow fresh, just like a raised bed in our backyard. And we have rosemary, we have thyme, we have oregano. Some of those things you can just pull and put fresh right into your meals, and it gives us so much flavor.
Very different from the freeze-dried or any of that mess and the dried ones that you get. Can you grow them year round?
This is a time of the year they're starting to look a little puny because as it starts to get cold, but some of them will survive the winter.
Can you cover them up?
You can. We actually have we have a lemon tree in our yard as well, which is hard. You have to cover that because it can't really stand the frost. But yeah, you can, and maybe I should be more, I'm not that diligent. I plant fresh each year.
It's not like you have all this extra time, so.
Well, sometimes it is tough, I must say. But I'm gonna start by just slicing this. So really all you need to do is slice the ends off, and then you want to peel it. And look, my peeling skills are going to be kind of tricky. I probably should already had one peeled for us, but you just peel this, and after you get it peeled, I'm going to try to do that fairly quickly. Once you get it peeled, you just slice it, put it on your plate, and add your shallot. Whoops.
Well, I find kids too love citrus. They love the little taking in their lunchbox, the little mandarin oranges and the orange like that. And fortunately, we can get them year round. I don't know how the recent hurricane's going to impact the citrus crop. I haven't heard anything about that. Have you?
I haven't, but you have to know that it's going to be impacted probably in some way, and I hate that because the fresh items, I was going to say, you can get like the canned mandarin oranges. You can use mandarin oranges in this as well. You can get canned items. I always opt for the fresh if it's available.
Oh, yeah.
And affordable, because we know that prices, sometimes prohibit, but you can get canned mandarin oranges and use those as well. So I'm just going to slice these up. And
see you here.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. So I am going to just slice these, and I'm just going to do these slices right
So
here.
they're about 1/4 inch size pieces?
Yeah, I tend to do them a tiny bit thicker. You can kind of see, and then the thickness. And you just put them on your plate. This is, I mean, really probably one of the most easy recipes you could ever do. So that, and I know this orange on orange was not very smart. I didn't think about that, but this is a nice durable plate. But just basically put them like that. And then the shallot is really by preference. If you like onion, you might want to put more. If you don't like onion, you may, or it's not your fan, you may decide you want to put less. But the shallot kind of has that purple onion look to it as well. So I'm just gonna slice just a tiny bit. Put on here.
I wonder how you're going to slice it. Like if you're going to chop it, if you're going to.
I'm gonna do it the long way because
okay.
very thin.
And leave the long pieces? Okay.
Now you can, if you want to dice it, chop it, you can do whatever you want. But one of the neat things about this, I believe, is that you kind of leave it in long strips. I'm going to get that off of there. So I've kind of done it so that it's in longer strips. And then you just kind of put that right on top. Just kind of sprinkle it out. So really, you know, it is, you can cut it as thin as you want, but again, I'm going to leave that one. Let's see, use these. And you just kind of sprinkle it right on top really thinly. Now, again, if you don't want onion, you can cut it up a little bit finer, and you can sprinkle it that way also.
And it isn't as pungent as a regular onion, I can tell.
It's not.
We'd be crying right now.
I know.
If it were.
That was part of my reasoning for shallot today as well, because I didn't want to cry as we're, doing this together.
And they're available in all grocery stores that I've seen, haven't they, for you?
Yeah, you can get them where they still have kind of the stem on them, but these, you can get them in a package of 2 normally. Reminds me of like garlic and how it looks. It's kind of in the same section where you buy garlic in
almost a bud type form.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And it's in still got the kind of the onion, the onion peel on it basically.
Okay.
And pre-cut, or if you want to use oregano, if you want to use thyme, whatever you want to do, go ahead and get that ready and kind of sprinkle that on top as well. Now the final of this is something that some people may not know about as well, or maybe you do. I use a lot of red wine vinegar. Now this recipe you can use any kind of vinegar you want. You can use white vinegar, you can use regular vinegar, but the red wine vinegar just has a nice fragrance to it.
With the oranges.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It just really brings it out. And then I couldn't live without olive oil. I use olive oil on everything, even on sweet potatoes instead of butter sometimes, which is hard to believe since my last name is Mohrbutter. But I use olive oil sometimes just on my potatoes because they're so good.
Oh, I do on all my vegetables.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
started substituting that instead of butter, and with a little bit of freshly cracked pepper and salt. I don't miss it.
Yes. So I just do a little drizzle. Oh, you know what, Jean? I need to open this.
I tell you what, let's take a break, and we will have both your salads out here when we come back.
Perfect.
Be right back.
If you've been waiting for the right time to shop for a car, your wait is over. Davenport Auto Park has a lot full of late model pre-loved cars. That's right, they're on the lot, fully inspected and ready to go. And there's more on the way. So come on in for the deal of your life on the ride of your life. We have inventory, all kinds of cars for all kinds of folks. We promise you'll find what you're looking for at Davenport Auto Park, or we'll find it for you. Davenport Auto Park, Rocky Mount.
Jenny, do we get to taste it?
Absolutely. Please do.
One of my favorite, I'm going to go for the avocado.
I'm going to have a tomato.
But now, I can see for a family putting out, dishes of each of these ingredients and letting if people make their own,
Yes.
they're more inclined to eat it. And
Absolutely.
very quickly, the United Way, y'all did something this year for the first time, the food tower.
Yes.
Is that going to be an annual event?
We certainly hope so.
Good.
It's called a food sculpture contest called United We Can. Folks have, they collect non-perishable items, turn it into a food sculpture, and then all those items are donated to fooding programs. So we hope this will be an annual event for us. And again, it brings to light food insecurities, food deserts, and that everybody in our community needs access to foods that are good for them, that they can stay nourished and stay healthy. So we hope it will certainly be a yearly event.
How long have you been with United Way?
16 years.
Wow. And I remember, folks, you might remember too, she left for about 6 months?
It was about, It seemed like 6. It was about 2.5 to 3 on the high side. Yeah, it was a very short
you missed
window.
it. I mean,
I
you
did.
knew that your heart was with United Way, didn't you?
That's right, and that's exactly what it was, because I do love the work in the community. I do love United Way and just coming together, to really support our community. It's a wonderful way to help and to give back and serve the community for sure.
Well, we are so blessed to have you.
you.
So thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Jean. Same to you. We just, fortunate to have you. As I said to you, I love doing a show like this, and you're the backbone of that. So thank you for that.
We'll invite her back, folks. Don't worry about it. So, okay, again, Cuisine with Jean, the website. You can go and get the recipes. We just thank you for joining us. And if you know somebody who'd like to be a guest on this show, give us a call. Have a great day. See you next week.